Craig, who worked at an animal sanctuary, was left devastated upon discovering a beautiful and majestic deer dead on the road. However, what followed next was so profound that it shook him to his very core, leaving him speechless and feeling as though he had just witnessed a miracle. Specializing in providing aid to horses and cows that have suffered from inadequate farm care, the employee in question was based at the Hillside Animal Sanctuary located near Norwich in the UK. Having rescued and rehabilitated numerous animals over the years, the cause of Hillside Animal Sanctuary was indeed a worthy one. The sanctuary was established in 1995 by a passionate animal lover named Wendy Valentine, who aimed to assist and advocate for animals in distress, while also raising public consciousness about the millions of animals that suffer each day in the intensive factory farming industry. Presently, the sanctuary houses approximately 4,000 horses, ponies, and donkeys, many of whom were rescued from the farming industry. As a result, the sanctuary employs a considerable number of individuals, including animal enthusiast Craig, who harbored a profound love for horses and relished being in their presence. Craig's family had a history of horse riding with a competitive background, and he, too, had a profound fascination with equine animals. His mother had owned 3 horses in the past, and his 2 sisters had participated in show jumping and dressage competitions. Hence, when a job opportunity arose at Hillside Animal Sanctuary, Craig didn't hesitate to seize the chance. But from the moment he walked through the door, it was clearly evident how passionate he was about the job, and he was hired on the spot. Much to his delight, from treating the animals' ailments to grooming and checking on them to feeding and watering them, to cleaning up after their droppings, Craig counted his blessings every single day. He felt lucky to be part of something so special and worthwhile. He enjoyed the challenges that each day would bring because he knew how rewarding his job felt to him. For example, one day an old farm cow had been brought in. It was skinny and its bones were showing. It really didn't look in good health. It had been living on a farm since it was born, and it was suffering. Craig helped nurse the cow back to health, and checked up on it every single day to ensure that it was happy and healthy. He even sat and talked to it, and stroked its head as he worked on his laptop during the long nights where it didn't look like she would make it. It was thanks to Craig's love and compassion that the cow survived and lived several happier years in peace, tranquility, and comfort. One early evening after a particularly long shift, Craig was driving home. It was that time of the year when daylight stayed longer and it was getting darker later. He drove steadily and carefully down the winding country lanes that led from the sanctuary and to the nearby village where he lived, but he noticed something up ahead, something laying on the road. At first, he thought that maybe it was some trash that had been dumped, or maybe the bumper had fallen off of a car. But as he slowly drove closer, his eyes went wide, and he let out a small yelp of shock. What was laying in the road stunned him and left him with tears in his eyes. He put on his hazard lights and pulled to a stop and slowly got out of the car, approaching the road blockage with caution. He wiped away his tears as his suspicions were confirmed. In the middle of the road later, a large deer. It was clearly dead, though as Craig placed a hand on its head, it was still semi-warm. Clearly it had died very recently. It must have been struck by a car. As they often sped up and down these winding country roads in broad daylight or in the dark of night, cars were continuously speeding down this road. Craig prayed that the death had been instant for the poor deer and that it had not suffered or been in any pain. Mercifully, if it was a high-speed impact, it would all have been over very quickly. Unfortunately, thousands of deer and other animals are killed by cars every year, especially at night when they are not as obvious and can frequently just appear out of nowhere. Animals are not able to comprehend the dangers of roads. So many times, their first encounter with a speeding car is also their last. Many countries have tried to mitigate the issue, though. For example, in Finland, they decided to paint the deer's antlers in a non-toxic fluorescent paint. This paint would pick up even the slightest hue of light and reflect it back at the driver, making them aware of the presence of an animal, even if they couldn't see it properly in the dark. This really did help bring down the number of deaths that occurred. Sadly, things had not ended so well for the deer that Craig had encountered. Even with the sun still up, this deer was just unlucky. As with any death, this one was really sad, and he pulled out his cell phone and contacted authorities to come and help move the body. It couldn't remain in the road. Not only was it a danger to other drivers, but it was also disrespectful to the beautiful deer. But as Craig started to formulate a plan to move the giant body, he noticed something highly unusual. The deer was particularly large. It was a big and proud animal, and its antlers was substantial, but it also had an overly large and extended belly, almost as if Craig placed his hands on the belly. And much to his surprise and astonishment, he felt movement, a twitch or a kick hard and repeated. He studied the dead deer's belly and was suddenly speechless. She was pregnant, but not only was she pregnant, but in the final stages of the birthing process. It seemed as if the baby deer was ready to be born and welcomed into the world. It was nothing short of a miracle that the infant had survived, but now Craig had to think fast and come up with a plan if he wanted the baby to live. Fortunately, Craig had medical equipment in his car as he was trained in the basics of veterinary medicine. He rushed and pulled out what items he needed. The sun was setting and it was getting dark. He positioned his car so the deer was fully in the beam of the headlights. He then got to work gently removing the fawn from the body of its dead mother. Eventually, the fawn was free and Craig wrapped it in a blanket to place it in his car. As authorities arrived to deal with the dead mother, Craig turned his car around and headed back to the sanctuary, knowing that there would be someone there who could help. The newborn fawn was quiet and looked around. Curiously, it certainly was a startling welcome to the world. Unfortunately, though, despite its mother's size, the fawn was tiny and required immediate care and attention. As soon as it arrived at the sanctuary, they fed it and made sure it was eating correctly before fully checking it over. Luckily, everything seemed well, but the fawn was not out of the woods yet. It required 24-hour care, including healthy sleep and bottle feeding every 4 hours. It would have been a mountain of a task for anyone else, but Craig gladly volunteered. He had helped bring the deer into this world, so he felt a responsibility for the tiny animal. Thankfully, the fawn turned out to be strong and fought against all the odds to survive. A fawn without its mother would more than likely die in the wild, but by some miracle, this one was discovered by Craig. Any other passerby might have just ignored the dead, or not noticed she was pregnant. But thanks to Craig's veterinarian training and passion for animals, he not only welcomed the fawn into the world, but also helped it survive and thrive. Despite its unfortunate start, the fawn grew up to become one of the hardiest animals at the Hillside Animal Sanctuary. It joyfully coexisted with the cows and horses that called the sanctuary home, and it was among the most cherished and energetic animals on the premises. Craig's fast thinking and his dedication to preserving and protecting life made all of this possible. Although the deer could never express its gratitude to him, witnessing the deer being robust, content, and in good health was more than enough for Craig. It's your turn now. What are your thoughts on this heartwarming and remarkable story? If you were in Craig's position, how would you have responded? Do you share the same level of compassion and affection for animals as the protagonist in our tale? We would love to hear your thoughts and views on this, so please feel free to share your opinions in the comments section below. I hope you liked this video. Please share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.